Hello, everybody. It's Liz Cross here, and we are so privileged this evening to be joined joined by Miss Sina, who is a wonderful deep dive on everything you could possibly ever imagine. I don't know where she has the time to come up with all this stuff, but you do. Miss Sina, you are a really good tarot card reader. Unfortunately for all of us, you're not doing readings at the moment. As soon as you are, we will be able to let the audience know. And I know that this is something that you are very interested in. So please take it away, Miss Sina.
Okay, so supposedly there's an earthquake coming, possibly this month in March. And I have actually gotten a couple visions of earthquakes in the last few months. Like I want to say the last 2-3 months, the word, like the image of an earthquake or just the thought of an earthquake is coming has come up a few times. And so recently I was watching videos about, and I've heard people bringing it up randomly. And also when I entered the federal building, because I have to go to the federal building from work, my phone mysteriously went off and it kept calling 911 emergency. And I thought that was very strange because I've had multiple phones for many years and I've never had that happen. So I was thinking that maybe my guides were warning me that something's coming. So, and this was just in the last 2-3 weeks. And then recently I came across this guy, Frank Hugerbeats, he supposedly predicted the earthquake in Turkey. And I think there's one coming up in California. I think he's saying there's one coming up in California, specifically around the dates of March 3 and 4, and then also March 6th and 7th. So can we bring him in and see what he says?
Yes. Okay. So how are we going to do this? Do you want me to probe him in the now or move him forward?
Both. Let's bring him in and find out where he comes up with his information.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've got him. He's tired. He goes to bed early.
Okay. So does he believe that there's an earthquake coming in the next week or two?
Yes. Hand on heart. He shows me his hand. He puts his hand on his heart. He honestly does believe that.
And where does he think the next big one is going to hit?
California.
Does he think it's in Northern California or Southern California?
Southern.
Around the San Andreas Fault or in Los Angeles, San Diego?
He believes possibly, is it San Diego? LA to San Diego.
Okay.
It's going to be a long one, is what he believes. His own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions.
Like there's going to be multiple quakes, aftershocks?
Will there be a lot of, plenty of aftershocks, but also just the fault line is very long. What is the long fault line out there, Miss Sina? Do you know?
I believe it's the San Andreas Fault, but that one runs through the San Bernardino Mountains. It does run south. Yeah, I'm not sure of the other ones. How big does he think that this earthquake is going to be?
How big do you think this earthquake's going to be? He's putting it up there, actually. Is it above a 5? Probably a 6.
So I did a tarot card reading on this, and I got that it was going to happen around the 7th of March. That it was going to hit the hardest around the 7th of March, which is the full moon. Does he believe that matches up with his research?
He believes that matches up with your research that it's going to happen around full moon. Yes, because of the magnetic pull
of the moon, of the full moon,
of not just the full moon, but of the planets.
Okay. What about there's a Rahu Uranus alignment, and Moon is going to align with this specific alignment around March 24th and 25th. Does that match up with any of his dates?
No.
Okay. So we also brought in Lord Vishnu, who I asked Liz before the video started, who I'm getting my information from when I was doing this reading specifically about these earthquakes, and this is Lord Vishnu. And apparently I have some kind of connection to him. So can we ask him, does he believe the earthquake is going to happen around the 7th of March?
That the earthquake is going to happen on the 7th of March? No.
Does he believe that there's going to be an earthquake this month in March?
I believe that there's going to be an earthquake in California this month in March. No.
All right. So
There are going to be 2 earthquakes.
In March?
Yes, but not here.
Not here. Can you ask my higher self who I got the information from that the earthquake was going to happen on the 7th of March in California?
It's going to happen on the 7th. I do believe that is correct, but I don't believe it's going to be California.
Oh. So let's see. Does this Frank Hugerbeats have any other information of where this earthquake could possibly be in March?
Where this earthquake could possibly be in March? No, he's just guessing based upon seismic activity and magnetic pull.
Okay. So why don't we try and connect with a specialist, astrology specialist.
Okay.
So I'm going to call in a divine being of love and light who specializes in Vedic astrology.
Okay. I'm laughing because I have them here already.
And who, okay, so who do you have?
I have a female.
And what's her name?
What is your name? Oh, Athena.
Athena. Interesting.
You do work with some weird and wonderful characters.
So Athena, can you tell us more about your specialty in Vedic astrology?
Vedic astrology. She just has this all-knowing.
All-knowing.
And it also has to do with all the magnetic pulls, and that's what it's all about.
Okay. Do you believe, based on the planetary transits in March, specifically March 7th at the full moon, that there's going to be an earthquake, a big earthquake?
Do you believe that there's going to be all the transits? There's going to be a big earthquake? Yes, but this one could actually be underwater.
Do you think it's going to cause a tsunami?
Will it cause a tsunami? No. It's going to be very, very far out.
Okay. Is there some kind of event that's going to happen in Southern California in the month of March based on the planetary transits?
No.
So this Rahu Uranus transit specifically in Aries, what kind of effects would that have?
It makes things more intense. It makes things very fast and sped up. It just goes very, very quickly. So the experiences that we have are really intense, but very, they pass quickly.
Okay. So there's also a Jupiter transit at the end of the month around the 28th, and Jupiter's going combust. And I believe I know what that means, but what does she believe that the Jupiter combust means? It's going
It
to have,
sorry, it lets off a lot of energy, more energy than normal.
when Jupiter goes combust.
Yes.
So Jupiter going combust means that it gets too close to the sun. And when it gets within, I believe, 3 degrees of the sun, up to 5 degrees, I want to say, I believe it's 5 degrees of the sun. Every planet that gets too close to the sun goes combust. And it basically causes that planet to lose its power and its force. So, for example, if you have a Mars too close to the sun, Mars is energy and action. And so if you have your Mars too close to the sun, your ability to, your energy is really low. Can you ask her if that's correct?
Your energy is really low. Well, the way it's being explained to me is that when it's, offloading extra energy, that yes, then there's like a vacuum there. That, you know what I mean? It is like a definitely less powerful.
Yeah. So Jupiter on March 28th goes combust. And I believe based on that, because Jupiter represents the planet of wealth, religion, luck, money, is that going to cause the financial markets to go down in March 28th?
Is that going to cause the financial markets to go down in March 28th? Yes, it will have an impact. If it makes land, yes, it will have an impact on the financial markets. Absolutely.
Okay. And then why don't we probe the planet Jupiter and find out what Jupiter has to say?
Okay, yeah. So I have Jupiter here. What would you like to know?
So Jupiter, do you represent the planet, like money, wealth, luck, religion?
Money? No, so literal. No, I represent financial energy.
Financial energy, wealth, money.
Wealth, yes. Money.
What about beliefs, belief systems, spiritual belief systems?
Spiritual belief systems, yes, it can have an effect on those. Yes.
Like gurus and mentors.
Gurus and mentors, yes.
Okay. So when you go combust with the sun, does that affect the financial markets?
When you go combust with the sun, does that affect the financial markets? Not all the time.
So on March 28th, the end of this month, do you believe your combustion is going to cause the financial markets to turn down?
You believe your combustion on March 28th this month will cause the financial markets to take it down? Yes.
Okay. And
Good
then
question.
and also when you are conjunct with Mars, that would actually cause your financial markets to go up, correct? If it's in the certain houses, but conjunction with Mars.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen this time around.
Yeah. I'm just saying as a general rule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So does Jupiter, let's see. So let's probe the moon.
Okay.
So on March 7th, there's going to be a full moon. Pisces. I'm not positive though. Is the full moon on March 7th going to possibly cause an earthquake?
On March 7th, possibly going to cause an earthquake. It's a contributing factor, and it's actually, I don't know, I'm looking at my full moon thing. Uh,
It's actually in Leo.
I got Virgo.
Yeah, no, I'm doing Vedic astrology.
Explain
Vedic,
the difference between the two.
so Vedic astrology goes by Eastern time, and it also goes by the planetary alignment. It's a more accurate alignment of the planets with the Earth. And anyways, basically everything is a planet behind. Every planet is like one house behind versus Western astrology. So like if the moon is in Virgo for Western astrology, for Eastern astrology, it would be in Leo, which is the house before it. And the same with the sun. The bigger planets, it doesn't necessarily affect so much, but it really affects like the degrees like Pluto, Saturn, or yeah, it could affect Saturn, Pluto, Uranus, like the ones that take longer to transit could possibly be in the same signs, but the faster moving planets usually are a sign, a house before that specific sign. And I studied astrology with Western astrology and also Eastern, and I found that Vedic is a lot more accurate as far as timing. So you can actually time events based on Vedic astrology, whereas Western, I felt like it kind of could describe personalities, and it more describes the person and the circumstances more than you can actually time events. So can you ask Athena if that's correct?
And what would the question be?
Vedic astrology is more accurate as far as timing.
Yes, that's what she believes. Yes.
And does she believe Vedic astrology is more accurate in general?
Vedic astrology is more accurate in general? No.
Really?
It depends where you are.
Okay. So, okay. So Mr. Frank Hugerbitz, let's go back to him. Did he predicted the earthquake in Turkey, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And he did that from he has a computer program or charts.
Computer program. Yes, that is correct.
And does he believe that most of his predictions have been accurate?
No. He makes a lot of predictions.
So the one in Turkey was kind of just a random hit?
Was the one in Turkey a random hit? Well, he doesn't believe it was just a random hit. I mean, he does this stuff all the time, but he certainly got a hit.
Okay. Why does he believe there's going to be an earthquake in California?
Why do you believe there's going to be an earthquake in California? Because it's due for one.
Did his program show that there was one coming in California?
Did your program show that there was one coming in California? Not necessarily like California. It's more of a broader area, but he's narrowed it down to California.
Okay.
But that area also includes the ocean, a large portion of the ocean.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just see if it happens then, because I don't really know what else to ask.
It's a very interesting probe. You're not the only one that's asked me in the past few days. Actually, a few people have asked me about this earthquake. So obviously, it's going around. He's not the only one putting out that information.
Okay.
All I can say is I hope it doesn't happen, because earthquakes are so scary.
Yeah. Well, I hope it doesn't happen either, but I wanted to do this probe because if it could happen, I wanted to warn people.
Yes, absolutely. Have you experienced an earthquake before?
Yeah, I was here for the 1994 earthquake in California.
Oh, the one where the interstates collapsed or the bridges and
Yeah, it felt like someone picked up the house that I was living in and shook it really hard and then put it back down on the ground.
that's so weird. It's such a weird feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
How did you feel afterwards?
You know, I, for some reason, am strangely calm when all these, crazy things happen. I'm actually very just, okay, everyone calm down. It's just an earthquake and we're going to be fine. But I wasn't really, I don't believe I was really that. I mean, I woke up during the earthquake and I was like, oh, it's an earthquake. And then I went back to sleep.
Oh God. Oh no. Oh, right. Okay. Totally not the reaction I thought you were going to give us. Well, I'm glad that you do react that way. So you're not traumatized by these things.
Yeah, no. But it's probably a lot more scary. If I was in a high rise, I'd be a lot more scared. But I mean, I was just in a 1-story house, so I was like, well, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
It's interesting because I was doing CTT sessions for this girl that had tons of just, anxiety. You couldn't explain why she had it. And it all stemmed back to her being in California. I didn't know at the time that she lived in California when she was a baby. And she was about 18 months or 2 years old. And there was a big earthquake and it scared it scared the life out of her. And she was screaming and crying and her parents were panicking. And it could have been that big earthquake. I'm not sure exactly how old she is now, but that event affected her. Now, her conscious mind did not remember that event. Her conscious mind blocked that event out, but we unearthed it with the CTT, going into the subconscious, going into the past life, and then coming forward and understanding what the re-triggering event was in this lifetime to give her this massive, high level of anxiety. And it was an earthquake. And she said, I'll have to check with my mom, but it feels right. So we tapped out, loads of things about this earthquake. And she immediately called her mother when she got off the phone with me. And the mom confirmed, oh, yeah, just before you turned 2 years old, yes, there was this massive earthquake. Everything fell off the shelves and you were screaming and your sister was screaming. And it was really, really awful. And so because of that re-triggering event of that earthquake, she had walked around for years waiting for the next earthquake. She didn't realize that. All she could equate it with was anxiety, like major amounts of anxiety. But yeah, it was all to do with experiencing the earthquake when she was very little. So
Okay, I have some more questions, actually.
okay. Oh,
Here's some
here we
questions.
go. Yeah, great.
Okay, so let's probe Earth
Okay.
and let's find out, are these earthquakes that are happening, the Earth trying to, readjust its energy? Is this like, why does the Earth think that these earthquakes are happening?
It's not a readjustment of energy. What is it? Why are you? It's filtering. What do you mean by filtering? It's a filtering, it's a cleansing system. It's a wake-up call.
Yeah. Does the Earth think that these are man-made or man-caused? Like, specific agencies like HARP that are causing these earthquakes? Technology, or is it the Earth?
Or technology causing earthquakes? No, according to the Earth's personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions, it is telling me no. It believes it's the universe. These are already pre-planned events.
Okay. Because there's a lot of people that believe that, you know, there's a thing called Project Bluebeam. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Where supposedly a lot of, you know, these events that are happening are caused by agencies that have an agenda, which, you know, I don't know much about that, but so the earth is not necessarily causing these?
So is the earth? No, this is all magnetic and by design.
Okay, and is it going to get worse in the next few years?
It's going to get worse in the next few years. No, but definitely in about 90 to 100 years, there will be a massive shakeup around the globe.
Around the globe. What kind of shakeup?
A splitting of continents.
Will there be global warming or global cooling?
Or global cooling? No, warming.
What does she think global warming is? Because there's different theories.
Global warming is. What do you believe it to be? Global warming. It's a transitional phase.
So the earth gets hotter?
So the earth gets hotter. Yes, it's almost like it's a pendulum, you know? It's almost like the pendulum swinging one way and then it reaches a certain threshold, then it tends to start swinging the other way and then it's correcting. Do you see what I mean?
Yes. So does the earth believe that we are, the earth is raising its density?
As in consciousness?
Yeah, consciousness, density. There's theories of, you know, that we're going through like a new earth phase and the earth is raising its consciousness and the people on earth are going to raise with it.
Yes, that's true. Are people on earth going to raise with it? Not everybody.
What does she mean by that?
Some people are incapable of rising above, rising their consciousness.
Raising their consciousness.
Or raising.
So this new earth where people are raising their consciousness, people will just be more like high vibration, like helping each other.
Just be like high vibration, helping each other. No, they'll still be self-serving.
So I'd like to ask Athena if can we connect with her again?
Yes.
So I did from my astrology studies, there's this thing called a great year, and we are a great year is kind of like this, similar to, you know, regular astrology chart where, you know, we have signs like Aquarius and Capricorn and Sagittarius. Well, and each, you know, like you could be Aquarius rising, and these are different signs that are in different houses, but in a great year it's like a universal year, whereas each year or each house in a astrology chart represents approximately is it 2,000 years? Can you ask her if that's correct?
And what is the exact question again, please?
So let's say the age, you know, you've heard of ages, like the age of Aquarius, right?
Yes.
And supposedly we've been in the age of Pisces for 2,000 years. Is that correct?
We've been in the age of Pisces for 2,000 years. No, just 1,000.
So we're still in the middle of the age of Pisces?
Are we still in the middle of the age of Pisces? Yes, but we're transitioning slowly.
So are we approaching the age of Aquarius?
Are we approaching the age of Aquarius? Yes, we're still heading that way, but we're not quite there yet.
When does she believe that we're going to be in the age of Aquarius?
When do you believe we're going to be in the age of Aquarius? Another 200 years. I don't know. She's holding up the number 2. So is that 200 or 2,000? It may be 1,000.
So is each age approximately 2,000 years?
Seas change approximately 2,000 years. No, not exactly. No. It depends on the cycle. It can extend, it can shorten.
Is she familiar with the concept of a great year being approximately 12,000 years?
Concept of a great year being approximately 12,000 years. Yes, she is aware of that.
Is that an accurate description of the cycle of a great year?
According to Athena, no.
So what does she believe the universe to like how many years does it take the universe to transit through each house of the the astrology cycle?
How long does it take to transit? It can take a long time. It can take lifetimes. It can take a short amount of time. It all depends on the magnetic pull. It depends on how we're progressing. It depends on many, many factors. It depends whether source thinks we're ready.
That's so interesting. I always thought it was set.
Yes and no. Okay. That's a good point, because we see with timelines, right? When I'm doing future probes, you can see with timelines that sometimes they extend out, and then sometimes there's a correction, they snap back. Timelines are more fluid. So if we're looking at something this big and this significant, I could see how the timeline could be extended or how it could shorten, but it always tends to self-correct. It always tends to make us end up right where we need to be.
So is humanity or like the earth on an ascension cycle to where the vibration is raising? Because from I'll explain what a great year is. So like, how one day has 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night, and there's 24 hours in a day cycle. Well, apparently like a great year is similar, but it's instead of 24 hours, it's 24,000 years, and each age represents 2,000 years in a 24-hour or 24,000 year cycle. And supposedly we're at the end of so there's the dark ages and then there's a light age, and so there's 12,000 years of darkness, and during the dark age of 12,000 years of darkness, it's like God going to sleep, right, and dreaming, and then 12,000 years of light where God is awake, or there's consciousness, not necessarily God, but just consciousness in the universe is awake. And then during that transition from darkness to light is when the human or consciousness raises or ascends, and then we wake up and we like our abilities, like psychic abilities and all these other abilities, start to come back to us because our consciousness is awake again. Is that correct?
So what would be the question that I need to ask?
Well, are we raising, or is what I just described correct? Is that a correct, accurate description of how a great year works and the universe works?
The universe works. No.
Okay. So did humans used to have the ability to be to have telepathy, like the whole humanity on Earth at one point, maybe let's say 20,000 years ago or 50,000 years ago?
Is that what a great year signifies? No, it's just to do with the Earth cycle. It all has to do with the Earth, not so much humanity.
Okay, well, let's
It's a
let's have,
renewal. It's a renewal of the earth,
okay.
a cleansing.
Can we bring Jesus in and ask him what, if he has more information about this?
Yes, it's almost like, there was the flood, there was the fire. I feel like there's fire. That's what I'm being shown. It's a overall cleansing of the earth. Is this a cleansing of humanity as well? Yes, usually when these events happen, there's a cleansing of humanity as well.
Can these things be seen in an astrology chart?
Not always, because by seeing them, you're avoiding them, and you're not allowed to avoid them.
Does Jesus believe that humanity at one point, maybe 10,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago, like all of humanity had the ability to, telepathy or had telepathic powers?
At one time, did all of humanity have telepathic powers? No, because if we all had telepathic powers, there would be no reason for us to be down here. It would be like being back in the spirit world. We may have had better instincts. We may have been more open and felt the energy more, but not telepathy, not on that level.
So does he believe the next, I don't know, 7 years until 2030, that we're going to experience a lot more upheaval on the earth, like earthquakes and storms and
in the next 20 years?
then the next 7, supposedly?
The next 7 years? No.
Does he agree with the theory that the earth is just cleansing itself and going through a magnetic shift?
Do you believe in the theory that the earth is cleansing itself? Yes.
Does he believe that this is related to like religious reasons, or like God is causing this, or these predestined events?
Do you believe that these are because of religious reasons? No, it's not really religious or aligned to religion. Do you believe that they're predetermined events? They're definitely predetermined events.
Predetermined events. What does he believe is going to happen in the next 7 years?
What do you believe is going to happen in the next 7 years? Nothing, nothing out of the ordinary. So if you're talking about a mass cleansing of the earth, like a mass fire, a mass flooding, we got that thing where there's going to be lots of earthquakes and lots of splitting, and I believe it was 100 years from now. None of that's going to happen. Okay, you're going to have pocket flooding, pocket earthquakes, pocket fires, wildfires, things like that.
What does he believe? What does he believe about all those train, accidents? Was that intentional? Because it seems there's so many of them. It seems like it was planned, man-made, man-caused.
Do you believe those train accidents are? No. You know what? It does feel like that, but sometimes you have to have a lot of strange things happen in order to wake up humanity.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, this was an interesting probe, I guess. Did you have any other questions?
No, I don't believe so. It was very interesting. Didn't know where you're going. That's the thing about doing these probes, you never know where you're going to end up, and you have to think on your feet. You did a good job, and I'm sure everybody will appreciate it. So thank you. And we'll go on to the next.